and welcome to AnyWho. It's episode 3, and today we're talking about the latest Doctor Who episode, the Wild Blue Yonder, which I thought was badly used, actually, because I think music like that can be very evocative, but it just seemed to be locked away rather than explored a little bit more.
I'm Blake, normally the producer of the show, but today I'm having to take the couch because we are missing Merv and also another guest, which we couldn't get one this week, unfortunately. We had last minute cancellations.
The problem we have is they're all in pantomime because we tend to get actors from our little acting pool.
Yep.
But they're all pooled into different weird pantos.
Everyone's in the Christmas rush now. Yeah,
so Merv is playing Ebenezer because he's quite good at being nasty if he wants to.
Nasty Merv.
Yeah, he could be the next master. We've already had that discussion earlier on.
Merv is the master. Maybe we should do like some weird stage rendition of Doctor Who, and we could have,
Merv as the master.
Merv as the master. I could be Fat Doctor Who. No. Regeneration's not been kind to me this time.
Can you imagine that?
Oh, crap. How am I meant to run like this?
Yeah, well...
Pull it. It says Sonic Screwdriver, Sonic Inhaler. Don't steal our ideas.
Yeah. But you've got David Tennant's sand shoes on.
Yeah, we've got the sand shoes.
So, he's an all-star today.
Yeah. It's funny. I've ended up wearing Converse probably because of the 10th Doctor back because that was my childhood. And I think that was when I was first introduced to wearing Converse. And ever since, I've always at least owned one pair. It's weird.
Well, bizarrely, I used to wear them because during the mod era, they were quite fashionable. So there you go.
And for some weird reason, they work with a suit.
They do. And,
they shouldn't, but they do.
And I think me and my friend used to wear them with a mini skirt, which is really weird. But there you go.
I mean, a lot of the goth girls and the emo kids back in school, they did, and with stripy socks and stripy skirts and whatnot.
Well, I've got my stripy top in honour of David Tennant because he seems to like his stripes at the moment. So we're so the Wild Blue Yonder. Let's get back on track.
Well, yeah, we went off on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
We haven't got Merv to just go straight into the episodes like we do normally.
Yeah. So they land on this weird spaceship with things going very slowly, and they can't quite figure out why everything's going so slowly.
The TARDIS crash lands once again.
Yeah.
Which seems to be a common theme at the moment between the Children Need Special and it's slamming into the apple tree, which we haven't covered. So it's got a very it likes, I don't know who it is, but no pun intended. But it's definitely liking to crash land and smash itself up a bit at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, let's rewind and the TARDIS landing in Newton's apple tree.
May as well while we're there.
Yeah, while we're there. I mean, the weird thing is that apparently the 4th Doctor said that he'd landed in the
throwing apples at
apple tree and threw apples at the at Newton, and then later discussed gravity over a meal, something along those lines. So did David Tennant land on the 5th Doctor when he landed in the apple tree? Squished him.
TARDIS just whacked the other one out the way. It's just like bang.
I didn't see him go woo out the door.
That's another sketch somewhere there, isn't it? But and then it's like, does that mean the Doctor will have to go back and fix the gravity situation?
Yeah, maybe that's why he does go back. But yeah, it's very confusing because it's like the 15th
wibbly wobbly,
Doctor
timey
and
wimey.
the 4th Doctor swapping over situations. So yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. But a lot of people didn't like the Mavity thing, and also they didn't like the Asian Newton. And I mean, for me, I just went, oh, Newton wasn't Asian, and then I just moved on. But of course,
a lot of people can't move on, though, can they?
They don't move on,
and
do they?
They have to. I mean, it was such a good episode as well. I think a lot of people were just trying to find something that they could try and cancel it over, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
they needed something that was like that they could jump on.
Yeah, trash it
Yeah.
over
Because I
something.
know people also jumping on the fact that it was kind of hinted at that the Doctor's like pansexual, and I know because he was saying about Donna goes to say to him, I know we're jumping ahead a little bit here, but they're saying to him like, "Oh, I always thought you were into." She was obviously going to say men or something like that because
Yeah.
they were talking about Newton being fit or however
Yeah.
they said it, and it got interrupted, so the conversation didn't continue.
Yeah.
But I suppose the Doctor's always, I suppose, hasn't got a sexual orientation as such.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. I mean, could you have been that old and living for that long? I mean, I'm sure the Time Lords are beyond, pronouns and
Yeah. Binaries.
yeah,
Non-binaries, and I think they've just gone way beyond that.
exactly. Because you can't regenerate into male and female, and then, what you're interested in doesn't change. I mean, it'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's an odd one that I guess a lot of people don't want discussed because they quite like the idea of the Doctor being non-sexual, being asexual.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent he was until of course the film, and then he's snogging everybody and and after
Yeah.
that he's snogging everybody. So it just it went from him being asexual and just not interested in that sort of
Suppose
thing.
In AnyWho, the closest to like a relationship is probably Rose, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he did love Rose, I think.
Yeah.
But the problem he has is the same as Captain Jack. He said
Yeah.
that it's horrible to watch people you love grow old and die when you're still the same, So I guess that's the...
Which is why her having her own version of the Doctor in a parallel universe ended up working out, really. Because
Yeah,
he'll grow
yeah.
old, and it would be interesting to see if it ever gets revisited, though. It would be nice to,
Yeah, I mean...
in some shape or form.
At the moment, because of, all the people speculating that it's a, which timeline are we in? Is it a completely different canon? And all that kind
Yeah.
of thing is starting to mean that people want to know whereabouts we are and who are we going to see and all that kind of thing.
That's it, because we discussed off the air, we discussed about is this really the real timeline that we're in with these specials? Because especially going back to like Gravity and Mavity, and even I know the Children Need specials aren't normally canon, but him pretty much deciding the name, or giving them the hint of the name of the Daleks and changing that timeline. There seems to be a lot of things happening that should or could be
quite the same,
rewritten, or should be fixed points in time. Because you'd think with the Gravity that would be a fixed point in time.
Yeah.
But obviously not if Donna starts saying Mavity later on in the episode and doesn't think anything of it.
I know it's all seems a bit on its head at the moment, and I think maybe as a showrunner, it must be boring trying to stay within the canon. So I guess they're throwing the toys out of the pram a bit, and exploring further afield. And again, that's something that a lot of Doctor Who fans can't deal with. Change. Even though the show's about change,
life, isn't it? Humans, but yeah.
So
the whole show's about change, but we can't accept it.
No. And there are a lot of people that I want it to happen like this. Otherwise, I'm off. It's the I'm off brigade.
It's like, we'll go up. Bugger off then. Most of us are still enjoying it.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of stick for this one, and I was really surprised about it because it was sort of a real proper traditional Doctor Who episode, and at one point I was going to kick the cat out from behind the chair so I could go, because I really dislike body dysmorphia type things with them changing shapes, and especially the jaw thing that really freaked me out. It's a bit like Pet Detective.
I've got a high tolerance to things that like freak me out, so it's more the knocks and the bangs for me, and the unknowing. And even like later on when the pilot is revealed and it's the horse, like the horse thing, that to me was more freaky than anything else. I don't know what it is. I've always been a bit weird with what freaks me out. Like even horror films in general, I end up laughing at the most of the time. It's just,
yeah.
I think it's my generation as well, because I've noticed that with a lot. Like, I don't know. It's hard to make a horror movie now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's certain things that are scary. I mean, I think it was Poltergeist where the man's washing his face and suddenly he's like his whole face is coming off. That that kind of thing for me is really scary, and I think it is for me. Body's changing.
Yeah,
it just really. I just can't. I
either
can't
like
deal
the
with
jaw
that.
dropping or the knees bending in multiple places.
so I found it
My
scary.
arms are too big.
Not just the big arms and everything. My arms are too long and all that kind of thing. It was the ship changing as well, and the moving bits on the ship. I found quite freaky as well, and I don't know why, but he seemed to have tapped into my nightmare
it's the
world.
Mixture of it's all the unknown, isn't it? So it's the unknown of the banging. Why is the ship changing? Why is there some kind of like countdown or some language? Which it is interesting because normally in Doctor Who we always have stuff translated by the TARDIS.
Of course, the TARDIS is buggered off.
Because the TARDIS is buggered off, it's great because it does give that,
he's got to figure
ammunition
it out
to be able to figure it out. And even though he supposedly knows, what was it, 3.5 billion languages or whatever,
it's one language
something like that. Yeah, there's still languages he doesn't know.
But I mean, it was nice in that it was a proper problem solving one rather than just they've gone back in history or something like that. I like it when they have to figure.
And the fact that the problem solving part of it is what ended up being the main factor as well.
Yeah, the slow robot.
Yeah,
which was very cute.
And it did have a cuteness kind of. I can imagine that being a toy.
Yeah.
Or was it Jimbo?
Yeah. Well, this is it. Everything
give
now
it a name.
Everything now you think, is that going to be a toy? Is that going to be a toy?
It's its eyes, isn't it? 'Cause it's like a bit like Blinky the fish. It's like a kind of cuteness about it.
Was it the depressed robot?
Eyes. The depressed robot. Just like,
that's what you reminded me of.
That's it. But when you first go in and that's all you see is this massive long corridor and just one mysterious robot.
Yeah. Considering Doctor Who is mainly people running down corridors, it's sort of like the ultimate corridor.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the golf cart.
Yeah,
because everything else was like modelled and shaped for like obviously like these horse type creatures. Obviously the robot's quite big. So what on earth used that cart? Because it was very human shaped and sized.
Yeah.
So that was a bit odd.
Unless when the horse goes in, its legs come out the bottom and they
gallops. Like one of those old little red cars when I was younger. The yellow roof.
Yeah, the red cars with yellow roofs. Yeah. They usually ended up tipping up and the kids' little legs sticking out there.
That was me. That was my childhood.
But yeah, so I think the then discovering that they've got these doppelgangers, and it was somebody said to me, "Oh, doppelgangers, it's always lazy writing."
Yeah,
but I actually thought it was a good device because they could push the characters on. They could talk about the, what did the Dr. Donna find out about the Doctor when she was switched into his brain,
which we'll get into that with like the flux and obviously the timeless child being mentioned.
Yeah.
And it seemed like this doppelganger version of Donna had more information than actual Donna that we know of, unless like at the end of it, we're not sure if Donna's really
whether she's
fully
lying.
letting on or just for his peace of mind, because she knows the trauma that it.
Yeah. He doesn't.
It's obviously affecting him.
He doesn't like people knowing that, and maybe she just said, "Oh, I didn't look.
Yeah,
it was too much. But are you okay?"
Yeah,
and maybe that's what the Doctor needed to hear, and of course, because she's the real Donna, that's what she said. Whereas the doppelganger actually went right to the knuckle.
But then at the same time, whatever being the doppelganger, because we never really
No, we
because
didn't
it
get
said
to
there
the
was
bottom of
there was
that.
no life forms on the ship. So what actually was the doppelganger?
Yeah,
Like, we don't
yeah.
actually know. This could also just be more mind games leading into.
Maybe leading into the toy
Yeah.
maker. Yeah.
It could have all
sorry,
been in.
spoilers.
It could have all been in their head. Still, there's a lot of things
Yeah.
like that. It could be because I mean the fact that these beings have come from nowhere. Because normally there's some weird nanotech or some
Yeah.
reason something exists, like with the library and the shadows.
Yeah, they didn't.
There was always
They
something
didn't explain.
linked to why.
Yeah, they didn't explain who they were
Yeah.
really, did they? And that was, I think, that was the only thing that bothered me, that there was no explanation
Yeah.
of where they'd come from and why they were on that ship
Yeah,
and why the captain had to
because they must
figure it out. And
have identified as a life form in some way, unless I just had a theory pop into my
Oh,
head.
boing! I could hear it drop.
The pilot,
Mm.
captain, whatever, horse creature,
BoJack Horseman.
hid the fact that there was those life forms.
Oh,
So whoever, if anybody did find the information, they wouldn't be able to look into it, and maybe that would give them more information to help replicate them, etc.
yeah, maybe that was it. Yeah, there was a big thing about them not knowing in order
Yeah.
to. So I was like, why are they speeding things up? And then you think, oh, it's because they know now they've got
Yeah.
to speed it up.
Because the quicker they know, the quicker everything just sped up. The quicker they were learning, and then
Yeah.
apparently they fed off fear, and
Yeah,
that was helping the more scared they were, which is when they were just having like the Mexican stare off through the glass, through the
yeah,
of what trying to like decipher each other's brains.
yeah. And I did like it when Donna fell through into the dark corridor. That sort of turned up the scariness, I think.
I found the darker corridors ended up being more effective and scary than the main corridor.
Mm,
I felt like we'll go into special effects and
yeah.
the Green Yonder, as I'm calling this episode, because
Yeah.
of the green screen. It is a green screen episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the darker corridors helped sell that feeling more.
Yeah.
And I feel like the main corridor probably could have done with being a bit darker. It was a bit too light,
It was
and
very bright, and I
it
mean,
kind of made it look a bit, uncanny valley, because of that.
yeah.
The brightness, I think, ruined the effect.
I think on the Unleashed, the guy that was doing all the special effects for the corridor,
Yeah,
he was most pleased with himself for the floor.
yeah,
All
was
those
blending
things
the floor.
changing.
yeah. Because I mean,
he was blending
I've
the
done-
floor.
I've done special effect shots myself. Like, one of my expertise with making short films is like, small budget special effects. So obviously I have to make the most of what we've got. And I know that accomplishment when you blend something perfectly with like some
Yeah.
thing you put in, it's like unreal, and you manage to get the lighting and everything. I know
That
that
looks
feel-
right.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
you
So
know
when
the
I was
feeling.
watching that, and I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, still don't like the shot, but I know what you mean.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it is good, that blend of you couldn't tell where the beginning and the end of the
Mm.
special effects were with the visual effects on
Yeah.
that. And
I
they're
mean,
using a lot of
to
new
me,
tech.
when Donna went down that thing, it's like when you're in the house of fun, and
Yeah.
everything keeps changing, and so that sort of made me think about the toy maker as well. Is this part of his house of fun that he's created for
In a
them?
way, I kind of hope we're onto something with that,
Mm.
because I think a lot of the disappointment with this episode that a lot of people had was, oh, it's meant to be like the 60th anniversary. It's meant to be special. And as much as that was a fantastic episode and probably one of the best Doctor Who episodes we've had in a while,
Yeah.
it did just feel like a Doctor Who episode.
Mm.
And I think that's where most people are feeling disappointed. And I know I saw in an interview with Russell, he was saying he was keeping the episode a secret, but he kind of feels like that was a mistake because a lot of people overhyped what it was going to be.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, there's going to be Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi showing up and all this. Because,
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
go by how big and epic they tried to make the 50th anniversary, I could understand why you might be disappointed. I mean, there's nothing saying that next week episode anything could happen.
Anything could happen, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Anywho.
But it would be good if, I think, to make that episode perfect, if they could incorporate it and it did end up being something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I've sort of grown used to now the new
Just keep it simple.
the new Doctor Who is keep it simple, and they tend to they tend to have their one episode and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the story, and I don't like that. I like a bit of a progression. So for me, if there's a reason why these doppelgangers were there in the next episode, that would satisfy me immensely. But I doubt that'll happen.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't, I'm still going to enjoy that episode as much. I mean, I've watched it a couple of times now, and I think it's a really good episode.
I do as well. And, apart from the fact that I don't like the bodies all.
You just got freaked out by it. Yeah.
It actually helped me watching the Unleashed to see that to see the technology behind it, so that I didn't feel so freaked out about the really long arms and stuff.
I do like the mixture of like the real effects, like the main prosthetics and things like that with that hand, and blending that in with the visual effects. The same with like in episode 1 with the Meep, and having that good balance between
with
what's
the ballerina,
CGI and what's practical.
Yeah, the ballerina
It
in
is
the
good
costume.
to see, but it is also good to see them keeping up with the times with the special effects and using virtual production, which is what they were using on the green screen. I know some people were like, were they running on treadmills? I'm like, no, it's just a very big green screen. And I mean, a lot of films now
huge,
are.
wasn't it? I mean,
It's like one massive platform that they could run on.
Where is this Big Wolf Studios? Because it looks
Cardiff.
massive. I mean, it probably is Cardiff, but whereabouts in Cardiff? Because it looked like
one
a huge
massive warehouse in Cardiff somewhere.
It looked like a huge building that and
because even the space for the new TARDIS, like I've seen they posted a building like montage of that yesterday or the day before of recording of this podcast. And just seeing the amount of the footprint that uses is crazy.
Because I mean the previous one was quite large, but it was it was in a sort of a very small warehouse.
And compared to Tennant's first TARDIS, like
Tennant's was just a little.
I've been going back watching some of the Donna episodes, and it's just a completely different feel. It's so small. It feels tiny in comparison.
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be like it had become organic.
Yeah.
I
do like the organic aspect.
I really like that TARDIS, and I loved his seat, his double seat.
The love seat.
The love seat, yeah. No, only Rose got to sit in the love seat. Yeah.
There always has to be a love seat
all
somewhere.
the others were friend zoned.
Even for the 12th no, the 11th Doctor with Amy and Rory, there was like a kind of love seat there, wasn't there? I think.
Yeah.
Like when they were getting up to no good on the TARDIS for making,
making
spoilers,
babies.
River.
Yeah. So I mean the highlight really, I guess, is for me, because I absolutely adore Bernard Cribbins, was seeing Bernard's last scene, and it was so sad that was all there was,
I know, and even though he did say he'd finished filming all his scenes, and then you're thinking, is that all the scenes then? Was it just that one? Because I've heard in an interview again that they were saying that was his last scene, unless they filmed that scene last.
Yeah. I mean, I know that that after that scene, he came to the readings and the table reads, and he was reading some more lines that he had.
Yeah.
And that I don't think that was filmed, but he came for the table read. I might be wrong, but I presumed there was going to be more for him, and it just didn't happen. So.
But I mean, if that is it, I mean, it's better.
Yeah, it was a nice ending. All the hugging and stuff.
I know a lot of people are sad. Obviously, a lot of people that worked with him on that episode and whatnot. With that being his last piece of work, because he was already semi-retired, it's probably a really nice feeling.
Yeah.
To give him that one last.
Yeah, it was a bit like me watching Glenda Jackson.
Yeah.
Doing her last piece. I was just in bits. So yeah, there was tears in my house. There was definitely.
Maybe we'll be
tears.
surprised, and maybe there'll be more.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed there's more. Because it would be a bit odd just to introduce him there saying everyone's going crazy and then the end.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like,
No, I think that was it. I don't
Also,
think we'll have
I
any more
wasn't-
of him.
I thought they should have done the in remembrance thing more at the beginning of
Yeah.
the
Yeah. No,
credit
they use-
sequence.
Well, they tend to do it at the end. They tend to do it at the end. For most things,
But
really.
I mean, but in this day and age, with like the way BBC iPlayer works, Disney Plus, it cuts the end of the credits off because it goes out
Yeah.
of the full screen mode and starts trying to play something else.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I didn't notice the.
Well, I'm
that
guessing,
bit.
did you watch it when it was on live on TV? Did
Yeah,
you?
I didn't notice the end bit because I just didn't. It hadn't occurred to me. I think it perhaps at the beginning of the end credits they could have put it on
Yeah,
and then gone into the credits so they could be all
yeah.
fiddled about with like they do. But
Double.
yeah,
Next
but
time
they
on
couldn't. They
Doctor
can't
Who.
put. They can't put it at the beginning because of course they've got their wonderful Hooniverse,
The Hooniverse.
a big sausage.
The rip off of the Marvel Cinematic Universe intro, but they keep
Yeah.
playing that out.
Yeah, but we
Literally spot on.
Yeah, but we want it a breakfast than the Hooniverse.
Oh yeah, the breadfirst,
The sausage, the sausage factory.
the blue sausage.
Yeah, but I mean, the worry is that with Disney on board that it will become a sausage factory because that's what they tend to do with things.
Mm.
So I'm just hoping that that's not the case, and all these spin-offs that people are talking about aren't, turning it into Marvel. So
Yeah, they could oversaturate it, but at the same time, there is a lot of room for spin-offs, and it would be
there
good
is,
if they
but
go back. It would be great as well,
Mm.
especially if people are interested in, reprising the roles.
yeah.
It would be nice to explore.
Of course, poor old John Barrowman is still saying, "I'd really like to come back."
I
Hello,
know. I felt
I'm
really
over
bad. The
here in
video he
corner."
made saying, "Oh, I haven't been invited back," and he's like, but I still love everyone. I love Doctor Who and this. That he was
Yeah.
like, filming weird in like a hotel room or something. It looked like
He's always in little
He's
hotel
just like,
rooms
I want
somewhere.
to come back.
Please let me back.
Promise I won't flash people.
Yeah. Promise I'll keep it in my pants this time. But
Allegedly.
yeah, allegedly. But it's just so it's sad. It's sad that because the Torchwood, I found Torchwood much more fun than Doctor Who. I really liked it. Apart from the American one, that was awful.
The
Well-
Americans, yeah, but it went downhill there, didn't it?
Well, it was just they had two protagonists that were really horrible that you couldn't like, and I actually cheered when one of them died. So there you go.
Yeah, it was very Americanized. So hopefully we don't go that route with like route.
Yeah.
Me being
The route.
Americanized right here. It's like, oh no, it's the route, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Exhibit A.
yeah.
We don't want things Americanized.
I mean, I think that I think the Sarah Jane adventures spinning off into something else is.
Yeah.
I think I quite like the idea of that because there's plenty of room for proper children's entertainment out of it. But I think people are more worried that David Tennant's going to have his own little show from this.
Well, possibly, or the Doctor and Donna adventures. People are saying things like that.
Yeah.
The reason why there was only 3 episodes is because of their time, though. Well, I think probably more David Tennant's time.
Well, I mean,
Because they were happy to do a full series with him, from what I've heard.
yeah, but they are both, they are both very busy
Yeah.
people now.
Because he could have easily come back for a full,
Yeah.
10-episode series.
So Michael Sheen as the Master, that would be.
Yeah, we were going back and forth trying to think of who could be the Master.
But
And I think they said,
we did land on Michael Sheen because he is just.
or David Tennant.
Yeah, actually turning David Tennant into the Master. The Master regenerates with David
Or
Tennant's face.
Is this the Master now?
Yeah, is
we
he-
went down a bit of a rabbit hole.
Yeah. But But yeah, I quite like the idea of Michael Sheen and David Tennant working together on Doctor Who, but of course,
Or you could have Michael Sheen as the Doctor. And
Oh,
David
no.
Tennant come back as the Master. I mean, he's been in the running, of people saying who's going to be the next Doctor as well.
yeah,
He's one of them that's always been in that list.
yeah, and I think because they've done what's it called, the Neil
Omens.
Gaiman thing,
With the Neil
Neil
Gaiman thing.
Gaiman, Terry Pratchett. Oh God, my brain's just rubbish. Yeah,
There's a bit of the Good Omens.
the Good Omens.
Yeah,
Yay!
yeah.
Thank you.
I was like
Thank
having
you.
a moment myself. And
Um,
also have scripted over COVID and all that as well.
yeah.
That was
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, I mean they've sort of done enough together, but I still quite like the idea of it. Bizarrely, I quite like the idea of Ian McKellen and and Jean-Luc in a camper van driving around England and call it Camping Around. I just think that's
Camping around, that's a good one. That would be good.
I think I can think of all sorts of spin-offs for other things, but I'm not very good at thinking of Doctor Who spin-offs, to be honest. Everybody seems to have decided what's going to happen, but
I mean, I can see them probably there's hints at like a Unit 1.
yeah,
I could see that being a thing. Like Torchwood,
Yeah.
it used to be Torchwood. It's like, oh well, we can't do Torchwood now, so what
So
can
we
we
could
do? So
do
we
a
could do
Unit,
Union, and we could have
yeah.
loads of people with weaponry equipped wheelchairs going around.
Yeah.
Wheelchairs versus Daleks. I don't know. Both of them can elevate.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I really liked her introduction into the thick of things. So it would be.
It was just so random and funny at the same time.
Well,
So we've all got them.
yeah. Well, the thing is, lots of unit people end up paralysed from Daleks and Cybermen. So they've all got to have a wheelchair that's weaponised if they're going to carry on.
Disabled unit.
Yeah, the disabled unit.
That's what it ends up
But
being.
but yeah, I mean, it's they quite often in the past have had people who are autistic and things like that in the show, and it's just adding that diversity and it's lovely, and I just can't bear the fact that they're totally going off on one about it being woke. It's just how it should be.
I mean,
So-
Doctor Who's always had a wokeness about it, and it's always covered, political issues, but issues in general.
Yeah.
And it's fine as long as they don't overdo it. And
Yeah.
I don't think they have. I think people are just so hurt from
Oh, the butt hurt.
the past
Yeah.
that people are just expecting it to go that way again.
Yeah.
So only time will tell.
Yeah, it's funny that everybody seemed to be quite okay about the first episode, apart from they didn't like the pronouns, and this one it was they didn't like the Asian Newton, and it just seems there's always something that they've got to have a stab at.
Whereas then if you go back in Doctor, I saw a post, I can't exactly name ones, but there were like loads of other characters over the times that haven't
Oh shit! Sorry, something fell down.
haven't matched their every episode something has to jump scare us.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it a horse monster? We could have doppelgangers. It's suddenly gone cold.
I'm thinking
Gone cold.
the studio below might be haunted.
Well, it is a Georgian. We are in a Georgian building, so
Yeah. Although you wouldn't notice it from where we
No.
are, but we're in the basement of we're in the basement.
we're in the basement of a Georgian building in Liverpool. So who knows
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
gone on in this basement?
Yeah. So
Maybe somebody, that I was about to mention about like other people through time that
yeah.
have been misrepresented by the wrong gender, race in
They've come
Doctor
back.
Who.
Yeah, they've come back.
Because the point I was making was it's been done many times. This isn't the first time, and it
No.
won't be the last.
No.
And it's like Get over it.
Get over it. Yeah. And we were just talking before, because we've got K9 with us tonight.
Yes.
I know that he's a dog and he's going to call the doctor master, but
Faraday master.
is there a hint there that the doctor will turn out to be the master in the end?
But just the same person in general.
Yeah. He's just been talking to himself.
It just takes one
whole
showrunner to think. It only takes one showrunner to think, oh yeah, let's go with that, like the Timeless Child.
Yeah.
And then everyone will be uproar over that.
But I mean, we've both been saying that we're not too bothered about the Timeless Child.
No.
That it's interesting, but
It adds a new perspective to things. A lot of people's arguments are it makes the universe feel smaller. Because then it's like the Doctor is the center of the universe and all this, which I do get. Personally, I think it would have been better if someone else was the Timeless Child.
Like the woman that's got her hands over her face.
Like supposedly his mother, or so maybe if he was like direct related to the Timeless Child, so he'd have some like not special abilities, but it be in his gene pool.
Yeah.
So he's more like a purebred Time Lord.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't Time Lords back then. But it is interesting because going back to this episode, the Flux and the Timeless Child has been brought up with Donna, but wasn't Donna. Doppelganger Donna.
Doppelganger Donna.
Which is the first time we've seen it,
mentioned
again that shows that it's still canon and it's not getting retconned by Russell.
No.
Which is an interesting choice. So maybe Russell will save it.
Or make it a new universe. That this is all from a separate universe.
Possibly.
So there's two universes that have split off, and
I do like the idea of the Flux and him killing half the universe being the new Time War event.
Yeah.
Because for the first, especially with the new generation, like with the 9th Doctor, the 10th Doctor, it was all about him feeling responsible about killing the Time Lords. Whereas now he feels responsible for killing half the universe. And all the repercussions from that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it might just be set up as that kind of thing. So we might never really get to find out more information, or if we do, it'll be in a special probably in another 10 years or something like that.
Or it'll be just slowly leaked out, like we had a bit of a leak from Doppelganger Donna.
Yeah.
I can't say that.
Is that a leak when she was a pool on the ground?
Oh, don't.
That was free. That was actually one of the more freakier effects. Probably was the pool when she's shouting, because she's such a good actress when she's doing things like that.
Yeah.
I know initially when I heard Catherine Tate was going to be the companion after the Runaway Bride, I was a bit like,
can she act?
Because even going back and watching the Runaway Bride now, oh my God, it feels so dated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I was like, I'm glad she wasn't that full on when she was the companion. Like she kind of toned down and was more serious.
I think that was a front, wasn't it? That was a front, and he got under the front.
Yeah.
Which is I think for a lot of Welsh women, that's how they are. I mean, I don't know that Donna was Welsh, but Russell T's.
I know she's from London, isn't she?
Yeah, Russell T's writing from his, what he knows, and certainly Welsh women have this big front, but big hearts underneath. So he's sort of written a Welsh woman, even though she's not Welsh. So
true. Coming from a Welshman.
Coming from a Welshman. I'm a bit Welsh. We're all claiming Welsh heritage now because of Doctor Who.
One thing I've got on my list here, which I have to bring up. Why the salt? How the salt? Why has he got a salt shaker in his pocket, man? He hasn't even really got any pockets. Like in the past, he'd have a big jacket.
Yeah. Well,
he just randomly pulls out some salt.
Didn't he have TARDIS pockets? That was the whole funny
the big on the inside.
Yeah. So
Like Mary Poppins, going back to...
Yeah, Poppins or Miss Piggy's handbag when she gets mugged. I'm sorry, but she had a handbag.
I suppose, because, I mean, how does
they pulled an ironing board
the
out
sonic
of it.
screwdriver, maybe again he's compensating.
Yeah.
With it being a bigger sonic screwdriver now, I suppose, how does he fit them in his skinny pants?
Yeah, exactly. No,
What else has he got in there?
It's what they call it, cognitive diffidence, when they baffled, when we're baffling an alien with a simple logic puzzle.
Yeah. It's funny that one of them went for it and started counting.
Yeah.
And then eventually they figured out, oh no.
Yeah.
Or I suppose the more they read it, them again, they was figuring out that no, this is fake. So it was more of a giving them time, wasn't it? To think.
Yeah. And trying to just trying to confuse them and baffle them and make them try and make them have to figure something out that will take them away from the puzzle that they're trying to figure out, which is it's the slow robot.
It's also interesting to see where it goes with at the end of the episode when he is a bit paranoid about making a superstition at the edge of the universe he mentions.
Yeah. He
So if that's linked to something.
Well, there was a few things. He was talking about God, which puzzled me because I didn't think that a Time Lord would believe in God, but he kept talking about the edge of creation, which is...
Or maybe now he feels like he's come from the edge of creation. He feels more responsible.
Yeah, I don't know, but that baffled me that he was talking about creation.
Yeah.
Because, surely he would be talking about the Big Bang rather than creation. And the superstition and those two things made me think: is this the real Doctor? Is this some sort of weird trick
game? Toy game.
Toy master, toy.
It's all about the toys.
Yeah, Toys R Us. But yeah, that puzzled me. Have you got any more little notes in your little phone?
In my little phone.
Your little wooden box.
So. I think we pretty much covered. We'll go on to predictions, and we kind of already touched on our predictions for next week, but maybe our official predictions. I don't think I really have any, but
well, he's bound to be getting him to do all sorts of weird puzzles, isn't he?
Yeah,
because he's the toy. Excuse me, toy. I'm gonna say
I've not
he's
seen.
He's a Toys R Us. I've lost it.
I've not seen the classic Who toy maker, so I don't know exactly. I kind of get the gist from what's been shown and what I've read into, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I remember he had to construct Jamie's face, and he did it wrong, and because Fraser Hines actually was ill, they used this so that they could bring in another actor just to fill in a little gap in the filming, to pretend to be Jamie but with a weird face.
Fair enough.
So so there was basically he was constantly getting them to do just weird
puzzles and games.
Yeah.
But like, do you want to play a game? A bit like that game.
Games?
It's a bit like that.
Yeah.
So there'll be all weird stuff.
I can't imagine it being that basic because it was very basic.
Yeah.
For the first Doctor. But
there's also maybe the link with Beep the Meep because we still don't know who the boss is.
Yeah, maybe
is that
toy
long term?
I
mean, that could be setting up for more long term going into
maybe the toy
series
maker
1.
actually made the Meeps in the first place because they do look like little toys, don't they? So
true. That's not a bad shout with that one. And
he
even
is
the
their boss.
I've forgotten what the other ones are called. The ones that are after the Meep.
The ones that are after them. Oh God, I can't either. It wasn't the Sycorax, was it?
No. But the point I make, they even look at it, they're quite toyish in a way
Protons.
too. They were quite weird looking and toy like.
Yeah.
If you think about it, so it
there
might be something there. But with the Beep the Meep, I just like saying Beep the Meep.
Yeah.
Saying with the boss and all that. and then everyone losing their minds and it being about mind control and the Meeps obviously being linked in with mind control.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something to do with why everyone's going crazy.
Possibly.
So we might have a return of the Meep.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't not put, say that's not going to happen, because it sort of seemed to be unfinished business, didn't it? It felt like unfinished business, and I think a lot of these are feeling like unfinished business. So maybe it is all going to come to a massive head.
Whether it's this episode or in the next series, or
we're
within the reign of.
Yeah, well, they're talking about it. Specials have got to be special. Well, maybe he's just building up, and this next one is going to be a humdinger.
Yeah. I mean, only if you go back to all the Bad Wolf and the Torchwood stuff initially that Russell set up in the first few series. I mean, they were all long burners and things that required a lot of time. Maybe not as bad as Moffat when he was setting up.
Oh, he was setting up ridiculous.
There was like 1,000 things set up, and then it was like trying to wrap it all up like in like 2 episodes. I hate it when that happens.
I know.
It's like you need to wrap it up relatively quick, just in case you don't end up having the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the story arcing.
There's an arc to the arc.
It's just it's just planting small things, and then it all comes together. But if you're planting enormous things, it's just not going to work. So it's just planting little tiny things, the Bad Wolf and all that lot.
Almost so they're more like just like Easter eggs than having to be an actual full story arc.
Yeah. Because we are, there's a lot of nerds out there, and they will be looking for things to put together.
Yeah.
And you can be sure that after the fact they'll go, "Oh, I figured that out."
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't sound like anyone I know. No, I love just throwing loads of conspiracies. I know some people don't like trying to.
No, Merv doesn't. That's good. Yeah. Merv's not here today.
Yeah, because I like to try and figure it out.
Yeah.
And maybe one of my theories stick, maybe it's correct, but at the end of the day, even if it doesn't, it's still fun to think about, I think.
Yeah, and I think we're creative, so we're going to be ridiculous, and me as a playwright, I'm writing the whole next episode in my head without
exactly.
and it'll be crap. Mine will, but the real one will be much better than mine. But at least it's given me something to ponder my brain over.
Last thing I want to touch on before we wrap up for this episode, the Doctor's final scenes, or what we think's going to happen with regeneration and Donna's fate.
Donna's fate, yeah.
Because every episode she's nearly died so far. So if you think in the first one, obviously because she was Dr. Donna and her head was about to explode, she nearly died. In this one, she nearly got burnt alive because he took the wrong Donna.
Right.
So third one, does she actually die, or is it going to be?
She go back
does
to
she
her?
happily ever after with her family? Because I mean, I think Donna's probably been through enough.
Yeah.
So it'd be a bit mean if they killed her at this point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like
I guess
it's one way of wrapping it up.
I guess it depends if she wants to come back or not.
Time machine doesn't really matter either way, does it?
Yeah. No, I really haven't got any guesses about what's going to happen to Donna. I think she'll still be alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way David Tennant, is he going to regenerate because he's supposed to be
hinted at him glowing, but that means nothing.
Just
because it didn't even
I've got a bit of a sweat on. I'm having a glow.
The regeneration glow that was in the teaser didn't really look fully like a normal regeneration glow either. So that could be anything.
I mean, they had the Metacrisis glow on the two girls,
And does Shooty end up being alongside Tennant at some point or not? Or
there's been lots of rumours saying
do they swap halfway through? Maybe, because I mean, for all we know, Tennant might regenerate half an hour into the episode, and it might be half an hour Shooty, half an hour Tennant.
Yeah.
It might be
I mean,
split.
I don't know whether with normally they regenerate. Well, in the past they've
It's always been at
regenerated
the end.
right at the end, and then the next episode the other one jumps up and carries on.
But that's normally because during a regeneration, there's showrunner changes, there's all the graphic. Literally, there's normally a lot involved, but everything's already been done this time.
Yeah.
It seems like all like the introduction, the TARDIS has already been shown, so there's no reason why they couldn't just go straight into it this time. So it is new territory.
I mean, I'd like Shooty to just hit the ground running and there not being anything much.
The only thing it makes me think that there might be something is
Tennant-y crossover.
because I feel like it'll take away his thunder a bit if he has to be alongside Tennant.
Unless he's good with that and that's what he wants to do because it's different, because I've not had that before.
Because when that scene when he's like, "What's going on here?" That's Shooty saying that in one of the clips.
Yeah,
you can tell the background's been replaced. And he's like he just looks like he's wearing not his suit. It's not Tennant's suit. He's wearing different clothes. But again, they could change that in CG. He's not wearing his actual costume that we've seen that he's going to be the 15th Doctor in.
Yeah.
So it's like, that must be in the story somewhere.
Yeah, maybe because it's the toy maker and he's...
Because the Doctor's not normally that confused when he regenerates. Until he obviously generates into a previous self, and he's like, "What?" Then he's confused.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it's to do with the toy maker. He's managed to get the regenerated.
Reincarnated.
I am tired tonight. The regenerated Doctor from the future. He's brought him into the past with Tennant.
Yeah, true. Because I mean, that's happened in the past where we've seen, like with Capaldi in the last one.
Yeah.
Even though it was just his eyes, he was still there.
Yeah.
So we were still obviously knew about the event and them going back. So maybe Tennant needs the help of a second Doctor.
Yeah.
To resolve the conflict.
I just can't see. They're talking about the first Doctor. I can't really see how they're going to get the first Doctor in. That's puzzling to me.
Well, they get Thingy to play him, don't they? Yeah, what's his face from Game of Thrones? Oh, I forgot his name.
I know what you mean.
Because they've even had a clip of him and Shooty, haven't they?
Yeah. So, but I can't see how or why they're going to do this. Yeah, Mr. Finch. Mr. Finch, you seem to change to the Doctor. I've got my cat.
Got my cat. Have you seen me cat?
Yeah. Yeah. I would have liked Alan Rickman in there being the master, but sadly that's not going to be going to happen.
No.
I was just saying how all my favourite actors have died, so it's very difficult for me to choose a master because they're all dead.
They're all
it's
dead.
Very sad. They're all dead, Dave.
Dead Dave. It's on that note, that great, delightful note
I just
of everyone being dead.
My leg just needs to grow a bit. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. My leg's too long.
My leg's too long. It's just gone to sleep. That's why I need to do that. Right. Okay. So, goodbye from AnyWho again. And we'll be back again next week. I don't know how I'm going to watch the next episode. But I will.
The big finale episode.
It's the big finale episode, and I'm actually out with my family, so I just don't know how I'm going to do it. I really don't. But we'll see. I'll definitely have watched it by the time we do the next one. But I might be actually watching it about 5 minutes before I come on the camera.
Don't forget to like and subscribe on the video because you guys never do your call to actions at the end.
No, I know because
it's always like bye.
I'm very new to podcasting.
Yeah,
so
like and subscribe on the YouTube video. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, make sure you drop us a follow and
make sure you
rate the episode. Make sure you got spots on Spotify.
All
And
right.
we'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah, wild green yonder.
Green Yonder.